Priestess. I'm Teresa. Thank you so much for joining me today. And welcome to Wednesday's live stream. Give me just a moment to get situated here and we'll get started with a collective reading or your personal questions, depending on who comes into the stream. I'm later than I had intended on being in here today, but I am happy to be here nonetheless. And welcome to Anunnaki Oracle Priestess. Did I say Modern Mystic Messages? That's my other channel. If I accidentally said that, I do apologize, but this is Anunnaki Oracle Priestess, and I had to get my thoughts together for the day. So I definitely thank you for your patience there. And if you'll be with me, bear with me just a moment. Hey, Niana, how are you, my love? I am so sorry that I'm so late getting in here today. I overslept this morning and then had tummy troubles on top of it. I was like, oh. So yeah, wasn't a good morning, but I'm here. I'm happy to be here. How are you? I can't even remember what channel I'm at now. Okay. Hey, Brittany, welcome, welcome. I'm glad to catch you live too, my dear. Awesome. I'm just trying to get set up here. Well, I got a mod in here now, so I don't have to do all of that. Hey, Spirit of Love, how are you? How are you? How are you? Welcome, welcome. What in the world? Okay. Yep. Brittany, are you going to be able to be in for a while? Can you mod for me as well, just in case Niana has to duck out? Of course you can. Like I said, I'm here right now. Okay, good. And I'll make you a mod right now. Yeah, this is an open session. I had promised at least 3 days of free sessions. So, and you're in here. So, yeah, you absolutely can ask a question. I'm doing very well, Spirit of Love. How are you doing? That's so weird though, because 3 of y'all are talking to me and YouTube is only showing, oh, now it's showing 4 in the group. It takes a minute to catch up. I hope you do like my live, Riley Reese. I would appreciate as many thumbs ups as possible. That would be beautiful, beautiful indeed. Because I am trying to get to a point. This is brand new. This is only my second live stream on this channel, and it'll be my third upload on this channel. This channel sat idle as a personal use channel for 13 years. So it's going to take some time for me to catch the algorithm's attention. So yes, the more thumbs up, the more interaction with the channel, I would appreciate it, appreciate it. Ooh. Now this fell out the deck as I was shuffling. It's a question for somebody. It said, bad meditation day. Did you receive some disturbing messages or images during meditation? Is somebody struggling with meditation right now? I don't know. I've never had that card come out in the read. I don't use this deck that often, but I have never had that card come out. So that's a question. Brittany, you can put your question in whenever you're ready, my dear, and we'll start pulling some cards on that. In fact, if whoever, I have 10 people in the room right now, if you want a mini reading, let me know right now so I can start taking a list of the order that we're going to handle them in. Struggling to start what, dear? The fast or your spiritual journey? Talk to me. That's what we're here for. We're going to work it out. We're walking each other home here. Oh, Lord, here come the yard people, so hopefully it doesn't get too loud. You have court with your ex for child support next month. Any advice, or will it go your way? Child support done got so weird lately till I don't even know. Hopefully it'll go your way, but let's get in here and see if we can pull some cards. I'm not feeling anything untoward right now, but you say you struggling too, Niana? Honestly, it might be to do something to do with the moon cycles, because I forgot we got a bunch of retrogrades going on, I think. We're officially in eclipse season. We just had a black moon for the new moon. Who knows? You say you're struggling to start meditating? Okay. That's fair. Honestly, maybe I don't even know. Maybe I need to do a video or two about that. Ooh. Now that's weird because this flipped out and look for a sign here. Bear with me. See what kind of answers we get from here. Is Brittany gonna have it says don't stop. So I mean spirit, oh, and perfect timing here. Success came out, no need to worry. It's up to you. Yeah, I think you're gonna be all right. I think you're gonna be all right, Miss Brittany. I don't know. It may not be exactly what you want, but spirit says no need to worry. Well, you just got it. Like I say, in the near future, right here, it said no need to worry. Still keep it in mind, like you said, visualize it going your way. And honestly, for those that are struggling with meditation, let's talk about it a little bit because I don't know what's going to happen to you tonight, Garrett. What are you planning on doing? I'm not a fortune teller. If you ask me a question, I can ask spirit and see what the cards say in connection with that. But I can't promise you anything, and I'm not just going to blankly try to look into your life. And I've never seen you before. This isn't trickery or anything like that. People that want to test tarot readers by asking, there's a difference in a tarot reader and a fortune teller, and I'm not a fortune teller. Just so we're clear. If you do drugs, you're probably going to wind up doing something stupid and or going to jail and or overdosing. That don't take me pulling no cards for do stupid things, win stupid prizes. Yeah, with meditation, and honestly, here's the thing. For those who struggle with meditation, it's not as hard as you think. Meditation can take a lot of different forms. Um, And it doesn't have to be a formal thing, sitting cross-legged, oming somewhere. You can do that. There's some people that are real sticklers on form and the chants you gotta say, and sit somewhere and quiet your mind. You'll never and understand something. You're never gonna fully quiet your mind. The idea is to take most of the you thoughts out of your mind. If you sitting there worried about child support court and your ex and what's gonna happen and did you do over here, you gotta file your quarterly taxes and what you gonna shop for dinner and quiet those type things down as much as you can. I like to meditate with meditation music because it allows me to just close my eyes, focus on the music, and as you quiet that and just focus on the music, a scene might come up. In fact, you can even paint a scene if you want to start quieting your mind when you go into meditation. I used to put myself, and this is so weird, there's all kinds, you can put yourself anywhere you want to in meditation, but I used to put myself in the train conductor's station from the Matrix. Remember when Neo went in and he met oh, what was it, her name Santi or whatever, the program that was the sunrise, and her father was the programmer, and then he met with the conductor, and he wound up in that train station that was all white, white on white on white on white. That's where I used to put myself in meditation, and I would imagine myself in a white room inside of a white bubble wearing white clothes and a soft white light. And after I kind of encased myself in all of that white, then I would let go. And as the thoughts start coming in, they went wherever they went. Sometimes it will be cosmic concepts, sometimes it will be some of anything. But the idea was to take myself out of my normal thoughts. And you're never going to quiet your mind totally. But at that point, you can start paying attention to the thoughts that do start coming in. Or if you paint yourself in a garden by the stream, by the whatever, you're not setting a tone for exactly what you're going to be thinking about in meditation. It's more of a line of setting a scene to get all of the other chatter out and then see what comes in. Brenda, if you have an issue with that, then that's fine. I didn't say it had to be. I was saying what I do. So you don't have to thumbs down it. If you don't agree with that or you don't want to meditate that way, don't meditate that way, darling. That's all. I was trying to help some folks that was talking about having trouble starting meditation. And honestly, I find I will use Spirit of Love. I'll use guided meditations for specific things I love, like Divine Light meditation, where they take you into certain temple spaces out in the cosmos and things like that, or you're meditating with the archangels and all. But for the most part, I'm different. I don't use guided meditations nearly as often as I do just listening to meditation music. But again, different strokes for different folks. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish in that meditation. And like I said, I've been consistently meditating since 2016. So I do switch it up from time to time. I used to do guided meditations and quantum leaping exercises and all of those kinds of things. And then once I became clairaudiently linked with my spirit guides, I stopped doing the guided meditations as much, just so I could hang out with my spirit team and hear what they had to say, you know? Yeah, absolutely. Even if it's only starting your morning with a quick 10 or 15 minute meditation when you first get up and stretch or get water, brush your teeth, wipe your face, whatever you're going to do, and then sit back down on the edge of the bed and do it. As long as it's in a place where you're kind of out of having folks stopping and interrupting you and all the rest of that. If you do have a special place in the house that you can go to meditate, that's even better. But if you can't, on the side of the bed. I know in the wintertime, I saw a meme one time. They would say what people think meditation looks like. And of course, it was somebody sitting all perfectly poised in the om and all of that. And they said what meditation actually looked like is she was sitting on the side of the bed with the blanket over her head, wrapped up and basically kind of drifting back off. Because in early morning meditations, unless you sit up, you probably will fall back asleep. But yeah, you do visualizations, but you want to do it by silencing your thoughts. You feel like messages are trying to come through but need you to shut up. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. There's different visualizations too, Brittany. Now, if we were trying to manifest, like say for example, I want to manifest my dream home, I might put myself in Africa by the ocean and imagine the outside of the house. Then I walk into the house and I go through the living room and try to imagine what that looks like. And then I'm going to pick an area that I want to start really drilling down on. I like to create a meditation sanctuary. Of course, the master bedroom is there, and it's the deluxe bath and the balcony off of the thing, and the color of the sheets and all of that. But then I have like a separate room because I know that Tantra is going to be a big part of me and my partner's life. So I create this whole separate space and what the walls look like and the types of crystals I want in there and the like the altar in the center and that kind of thing. That's a whole different type of visualization exercise. If I want to hear from my spirit guides, I'm not going to be actively building in a visualization. Like you say, I'm going to put myself someplace where I can plunk. I'm by the ocean, where I can just create that ocean scene or whatever, and then sit there and zone out, or in the white room, or in the pew of a church, or somewhere that once I've built the meditation space, I don't have to continue to visualize to maintain it. I've kind of put myself there, figured out what I'm wearing, and then I just go within. And at that point, I'm literally sitting there with my hands kind of in my lap, waiting for spirit. And if you do, once you've gotten yourself situated and comfortable and you're like you say, your clothes and your outfit, sitting on the pew, sitting on the cushion, wherever you're at in that space, and you visualize all that, then literally fold your hands and just make yourself quiet with the understanding that you are waiting on your spirit team. And somebody will show up, even if they don't name themselves, other thoughts will begin to come through eventually. and ask for it. Don't hesitate, especially Yeshua. I'm telling you, that's what people don't even understand. That's what I did. I didn't at first because, like I said, I was so angry with religion and angry with all this other stuff. But when I really started meditating, and now I do admit, during that time period, I was doing breath work. I was barefoot meditating out in the grass. I have a yoga. I got two yoga balls actually, but I sit on a yoga ball so that I could I'd be nice and comfortable, open my hip frame, plant my feet barefoot, breathing in the fresh air, and I would sit out there and do that like in the morning and evening. I was meditating twice a day for a minimum of like 45 minutes to an hour every day. But after I had done that for a while and I was doing like 2 or 3 salt baths a day, and then once I understood that my clairaudience was kicking in, I asked the ascended masters to make themselves known to me, and Yeshua showed right up. You said, what does it mean when people are always giving you fans? That's an interesting problem, if dilemma to have. Honestly, if you ask me, I think it actually means you're going to have a nice little fan base before it's over with. Random people just handing you fans. Wow. I would interpret that to mean that you are meant to have fans or a support system that surrounds you that will constantly be helping, guiding, protecting you. You know, fans can fan off pests, keep those away from you. It can cool you down. It will take people surrounding you. Either way, you're going to have a network of folks around you. That's how I would interpret it personally. You can look up the spiritual meaning of fans if you want to online and see what they have to say. Brittany, was that your question? You said you were going to ask a question. Oh, you asked a question about the child support. Yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. Niana, you asked how you. Whoa. And again, I do not use this deck that much. I bought it because it was on sale one time a bajillion whatevers ago. And I may have used it maybe 2 or 3 times since I've had it. But I decided to pick it up today. As you were asking that about how you should take that, the card that came out of here was the divine. The divine is sending you love and support. Better days are coming. I think you should take that to mean you're going to have that kind of support and fans. I know what you're talking about fans. You said you always been giving fans. You gifted them from people, strangers, coworkers, family. Yeah, that your spiritual family, your soul tribe is going to come in. Like I said, you've given that kind of support to people, and it's going to come. It's going to continue to come back to you. Uh, the quantum field showed up for you, the invisible field of information that exists beyond this space and time. When you're connected in the unified field, you'll see all kinds of synchronicities like that. That honestly, the synchronicities are there for everybody, but when you start paying attention to them, when spirit catches you paying attention, they will ramp up exponentially. They're more than happy to play that game with us. And it fascinates and humbles me that they do show up for us like that to let us know. But yeah, the more you notice, the more they'll give you to notice all the time. It is spirit of love. It's kind of cool how that happens, you know? Ooh, don't burn your bridges though. It says, where did all my good friends go? Truthfully, it seems like I said, if people are giving you fans and you're giving fans, you're not one of those people now. This card used to trouble me because I didn't have any good friends, and I didn't know that till they all started disappearing. And I mean, when I say all of them, I'm down to the very last one. And I talked about it on the channel. I thought she was a friend. I thought she was going to go the distance. But when I really sat back and analyzed our friendship, she only called me when she wanted to vent. I'm an armchair psychologist. And I mean, and I've known that about her for years. She's always been that type of person that will exaggerate and oftentimes out and out lie to manipulate people to get what she wants. She cries the poor mouth to always make it seem like she's needy so she can milk more out of people. I thought she was over that because I started talking. She was a very negative person. I kept talking to her, encouraging her, and it seemed like she was leveling up to a place, and she's making more money than she's ever made in her life, but she's still overspending, crying the pole mouth. And when I called her out on it, and I wasn't trying to call her out on it to embarrass her, it was just me and her on the phone. I was trying to stop her from energetically shooting herself in the foot from a law of attraction standpoint. But because I didn't want to sit there and entertain her speaking life to lack mentality when there was no need for it, she got angry with me and rushed off the phone. And it has literally been a month now since she's called to check on me. And she knows she's one of my only friends left. So she exited herself from my experience. But I don't think you're going to have that problem, Niana. Like you said, if you still have people in and out, you may have some folks that are stable enough to ride this transition with you. And that's a beautiful thing. Most people in a spiritual ascension do not get that luxury. Most people wind up walking it alone because the folks around them are not taking that quantum leap with them. Forgiveness is here. Extend love and forgiveness to everyone. To err is human, to forgive divine. But please understand that forgiveness does not mean being a doormat. And again, say along that same line, some of those folks that you have to cut off will try to convince you that you have to forgive them, and that forgiveness means you have to allow them back in your experience to give them another chance. Forgiveness does not always mean giving another chance. You can forgive someone and still release them with love. And I've had to do that too. Got that scenario going on too. The other one of my two or three remaining friends, like I said, I thought was a spiritual brother and all of this and that, but it got to where I had to stop back and be honest with myself and analyze the situation. And yes, he would consider us friends. I was trying to consider him friends too. But I also noticed a very unhealthy trend of one-sided giving. He was dry begging the hell out of me every 2 or 3 months. He needed $100 to $300 for some kind of crisis going on in his life. And that's been going on for years. And when I got uncomfortable with it and asked him to stop asking me for money, because I didn't have it like that anymore, he said he would stop, but he continued to do it, and then started really pressuring me, trying to make me feel bad because I had to say no. And I just finally had enough and called him out on it and ended the association. Then he came back wanting to, oh, but I'm sorry, but give me another chance. And I was like, dude, we done had this conversation 5 or 6 times, and I told you that this was the last time. So no, I love you. I forgive you. I'm not angry. But our association is done, because that's mentally draining to have someone that's constantly browbeating you because you don't want to or can't afford to give them the money that they're demanding from you in the name of friendship. My peace is not for sale, and neither is my friendship. Hold on. You said not that it's okay about your friends using you, but you have the energy to heal and elevate others. You attract people who need it. But if they don't take the ascension, that's right. That's on them. You can go the distance for a while, and honestly, as empaths, we have to be very careful of that, because empaths have a real tendency to be over givers. We are people pleasers. We want to help everybody. We want to save the world. We want to help them ascend. We want all of those, and there's nothing wrong with wanting those things, but we also have to understand that it's not our place to try to make them see what they cannot see or do what they're not ready to do yet. And it's not even our business to sit there and try to micromanage their ascension. That's not our place. And truthfully, when we try to do that, we're not even helping them. If we enable them by always being there to fill their stopgaps and not saying anything and allowing them to overuse us and all of that, not only are we cutting off our own blessings, but we're keeping that energy of codependency alive. which keeps us from our next stage of ascension, and it's keeping them from learning the lesson of codependency and graduating from it too. Enabling people does not help you or them. Yeah, I mean, and it is a negative in a way, but I try to not see it as a negative. It's working the puzzle, because society does tell us that we're just supposed to give until it hurts. Just even religion teaches you that forgive, turn the other cheek 70 times 7. And I'm not saying Yeshua did or didn't say that. I don't know. I think they did put some words in his mouth and they took some other things away. But you also have to remember, like I said, Yeshua was not a milk toast either. So forgiveness is fine, but forgiveness is not compliance. And that's the part that they don't understand. Yep. Anybody else got some questions we can pull from this little deck over here? Then I already got us started on some really deep thoughts today. But ooh, what we got? What we got that just fell out? If it sounds too good to be true, it's probably a scam. Honestly, I don't like that type of thinking though, because maybe, and they can call me naive or too optimistic or whatever. And I'm not saying there aren't a lot of scams out there, but we do have way too much of that type mentality, especially in the Western world. Now people have gotten so jaded that they quick to call everything a scam, and in doing so they short circuit their own blessings, in my opinion. Everything is not a scam. Sometimes spirit inspires the right people to show up in your life with real assistance because they want to. But if we're so busy looking a gift horse in the mouth, as they say, we'll be quick to insult those people and call them a scam and send them on about their business. You've been asking, oh Lord, I need deliverance, I need help, I need money, I need. And then when the people show up to try to give it to you, you accuse them of being a scam. We got to stop doing that. Ooh, new home, new job. A new home, job, or lifestyle is on the horizon for somebody in this live stream. Or somebody's going to watch this later. Living on the edge, you have to do something important. You have something important to do, so focus on detoxing. And it talks about drink pure water, drink filtered rainwater or spring water from a good source if possible. And I know Brittany and I are starting this fast today, so wow. You said you claim it, me too, baby, me too. Like I said, I still ain't got the money to do it today, but I still see myself in Japan by the end of the year. I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't have to know how it's gonna all work out, because spirit, no, my situation could turn around tomorrow. If it's too good to be true, it might be just for you. Daggone right, Niana. Yes, sister. I claim that all day, all day, all day. Now let's get on in here. I'm just gonna pull some stuff for all of us, see if we can get some messages here for the collective, kind of a general thingy thing going. If that's all right with y'all. Um, let me see. Let me get this out the way. That's been working pretty well for us. Of course, if anybody gets a question, put it in there. But right now, we just reading general energies for the general populace of whoever's up in her, which I really think is gonna go quite good, because I know two of the energies in here, and I don't think I read for Spirit of Love unless you popped in under a different. Um, yeah, I get some light going. It's a little bit dark out there. But we gonna see what we see. How about that? Let's see about some archangels too. Let's see what they got. I haven't pulled from this deck in a minute. Oh, Archangel Charity is here. Give with an open heart. Be generous. And honestly, for the type of abundance that we're calling in, that's the reason we called it in. I know most of us that are manifesting a serious windfall or wanting to see a windfall, it's not just for us. It really isn't. It's because Spirit done put something on your heart to do that's bigger than anything you could imagine. And it ain't nothing that you could do by yourself without quite an influx of cash coming in from somewhere, or a patron or a soul tribe or something. But you're gonna have to generate some money to pull that off. And ain't nothing wrong with that. There isn't. Like I said, somebody mentioned something about Mr. Beast the other day. If he can manufacture $1 billion just being foolish, why can't we collectively get together and like I said, manufacture $500 million to go help humanity? And it's as simple as that. I see some of these giving channels, and some of them look a little hokey and they're kind of exploitative. But what's to say we can't start one that isn't exploitative, you know? We can start one that go this around the world doing our thing, helping our brothers and sisters in all kinds of places. We ain't gotta wait for the Red Cross and the Goodwill and all the rest of them to scamming folks out and giving the CEOs $4.5 million Christmas bonuses and all that other kind of nonsense. We can do our own thing. You say you hungry? Go get something to eat, girl. Or you talking about you spiritually hungry? Ooh, what was Wavasil? And I'm not even familiar with this angel, but it says, accept and send healing. You are a being of the universe. Oh, Brittany, that's what we're gonna do. Honestly, I don't know who gonna ride with me, and I don't even care at this point. I was afraid to speak it out for a while because I knew I had some haters that was literally doing the ugly boogly, sending binding spells my way. But now Spirit is starting to show me it's time to start speaking it into existence. That's why I mention it more often on my channels, because I know it's going to take that tribe of people to do it. Because face it, at my age and stage, even if I manage to mess around and hit the lottery, I'm still only one person. It's going to take a team of generals, feet on the ground, soldiers to even spend the money. Trust me, though, I already know how I'm going to spend it, child. Now, I am going to be smart. I'm going to be smart. Even y'all won't know unless or until the foundations are already in place and everything is set up, the trust funds and the this and the that. Everything I want it to be made, make it real clear when the world finds out I have money, they're gonna also find out it's not personally attached to me anymore. So if you take me hostage, you just got a fat old lady with with nothing to her name, because I understand I'm not being assigned that money for me. I will be a steward of spirit, and spirit is releasing it to me to do what they've shown me to do. I mean, I'm gonna be comfortable, but for me, all I need is a 2 or 3 bedroom cottage by the beach, and I'd like for it to be within walking or biking distance to a little farmer's market or something, so I can get my veggies and fruits and stuff. And it'll be nice. I want a little gym in there so I can go outside, but I want to be by the beach so I can sit on my little yoga ball or whatever and meditate by the ocean. But other than that, I wouldn't even want like them $5 and $10 million houses people see. They get rich, they get internet rich, and then go buy a house that look like a doctor's office or the mall. I'm too scary. I don't want to be in one wing of the house and wondering if somebody crawling through the window to cut my throat in the other wing. When a house got wings, that's more than I want to clean. It's more than my lazy ass want to walk through. I don't need all of that, you know. You say you haven't managed a live yet, but you rewatch. You from the UK, you was chatting with your brother and he has a situation with his ex-wife and children. And then y'all got to chatting about Enki and Yeshua. Okay. Or were you wanting to look into somebody else's scenario? Because honestly, I think your brother, if for me to get an accurate answer on what's going on with his ex-wife and children, I'd probably have to be tapped into his energy, which I can't do if he's not on the stream. I mean, I'm funny about that. I don't read people without their permission. I won't even read my children without their permission. Um, but yeah, if he has a question about that, If he wants to come on the stream, that's fine, and he can do that. I will be back on at some point tomorrow. And even if I'm done with the free readings for this particular situation, just remind me. If he reminds me that he's connected to you, remind me of Spirit of Love. Even if I'm doing a live stream for donations or, whatever I'm doing, if you remind me that you mentioned that today, if it's within the next week or so, then I will still pull cards or talk to him on that scenario. But if you had a question about Lord Enki and Yeshua, I can answer that all day. Child, Niana, we should be. I have an absolute black thumb. I could kill a sweet potato plant. Now, honestly, maybe once money is no object, I can get out there and kind of sort of figure things out. Because I did want to start doing like hydroponic gardening or step gardening to try my hand at it, but I've never really had success in growing things. My attention span is kind of short. So I guess I don't order the stuff often enough or tend to it often enough. I don't know. You said he works nights. You're in the UK and he works nights. So 11 o'clock in the UK. If he gets off at 7 in the morning, that would be like 2 o'clock my time. By the time he gets home, 9 o'clock my time is 2 or 3 in the afternoon. He should be able to jump on, like if I'm on in an afternoon session or something, if he's willing to get up in time. But truthfully, if he's not willing to ask the personal question, then he ain't really that curious in knowing. And at that point, you'd be just basically being nosy in his life. You say you got a purple thumb? I don't know. I got anything but a green thumb. I can tell you that, though. That's what I ain't got, because I was so hurt when I killed a little sweet potato plant. I done had 2 or 3 little plants I had on my desk here since I was doing tarot. They both kind of limped along. I did get the rows of Jericho plants, but one of them wound up with mold in it. I'm like, I'll be damned. That's a plant that you really can't kill. You just have to either keep it submerged in water and take it out of water every so often so it can dry out and curl back up. But if I kill a rose of Jericho, something wrong with me. Let's see what Archangel Michael got to say for us today. And I'm glad you understand about that spirit of love. Some people, you'd be amazed at the people that don't want people reading them. 3 of my children have asked me for readings. I still have one. His wife is subscribed to my channel and my YouTube group, and my WhatsApp group and all of that. But he does not want me to read his energy, and I won't. I've never read them. That's why I'd be so upset, because I had every intention of doing the right thing. But again, I have ADD real bad, and I don't get it right. I guess I either overwater it or underwater it, or it ain't getting enough sunlight. I'm not sure what it is with me and plants. But we don't, I love animals and I do great with animals. Not so good with plants. I honestly, I don't think it's necessarily harder. Well, maybe it depends. You might find it harder. I think it may be harder for some family members to believe what we read, because all of mine told me that it was on point. Even the one that don't really, really, really like what I have to say, but I did see something in a reading that she didn't want to admit, and my oldest daughter saw it even without the cards. We've had that conversation, but when the cards reflected what I had seen and what my daughter saw, and I mentioned it to her, she said I was wrong. My youngest child thinks that she's gay, but she's not truly gay. She's dealing with some unaddressed trauma. She's hidden in the world and chosen that lifestyle, but it's not natural to her. And I know it ain't natural to her because it wasn't. Like I said, my oldest child, I knew she was gay before she knew she was gay. And I watched her struggle with her sexuality and had to just let her know it was okay, you know? And she's a true lesbian. My youngest one isn't. And when I pulled a reading for her, it does stem around her daddy issues and her anger and stuff, but she don't want to face that. Ooh, it's time to leave this unhealthy situation for somebody. Archangel Michael, what parts of my life do I need to focus on more closely right now? Thank you for helping me hear your answers and for giving me the courage to make healthy changes in my life. Hey, Jesus LeBlanc, how are you, my dear? You say you walked by a plant one for years and didn't notice it, then you heard it. Oh wow. Oh, that honestly, I wish I could talk to him like that. Now this one came, I put it back in and it came back out. You and your loved ones are safe. I've seen now. I had the weirdest thing though. Like I haven't actually had individual plants talk to me per se, but what I have had happen was a couple of incidences where I was doing like the meditation thing consistently, going outside early morning to meditate and all of that. And I was visiting my son, and behind his apartment building, there was a row of about 5 or 6 trees surrounding the open common area behind those apartments. And those trees allowed me to see their faces. Good morning, Rot Rot. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, they actually, and I've connected with them like in meditation. I got some thoughts about the love that trees have for us, because it, like you said, they, I am aware that they do have spirits. So you think about what it takes for a sentient energy. I don't want to say being because we think about beings as being embodied in flesh, but for a sentient energy to decide to embody on this earth in a form where it will spend its entire existence rooted to one spot to bring energy back and forth. That's his job, to breathe, help the planet breathe. And at the end of it, it's going to be chopped down, burned up, turned into firewood, or else it's going to have a slow, painful death from some kind of bacteria or smaller animals and stuff eating it alive from the inside. It takes a lot of love for a being to choose to do that anyway. Some of them stay here for 1,000 years, some of them stand here for 100, but they stand in one spot their entire lives just so we can breathe. Because that's the purpose for trees being here, is to help us breathe. Oh wow. Yeah, and I have seen people that do interact with trees and stuff in ways that, like I said, people don't want to accept the fact that plants have a measure of intelligence and sentience, but I saw it in meditation. Hey Robin, how you doing, mama? Welcome in, welcome in. Honor and trust your feelings. So like I said, when you know those plants are talking to you, honor that because they absolutely are. It doesn't matter whether somebody else believes it or understands it or not. You know it. It's like a couple days ago, and I honestly, I think I might do a video addressing the concerns because whoever the person was, left me a long behind message on one of my videos, and then turned around and emailed me with the same thing. And she was trying to tell me that Paul Wallace said something dramatically different than I've ever heard him say to try to support her skewed thoughts on spirituality and religion. And at first, I was just going to ignore her because she's literally trying to convince me to go back to some kind of religious thinking that I'm never going to go back to. And I honestly wouldn't even bother responding to it except for the fact that she did put it on the channel. And I don't want people to be confused. So I'm not going to respond to her email directly. I'll respond to the channel. But the main thing is, if you know what you know. Don't let somebody else come along that don't know what you know try to talk you out of what you know. You see, if you think about it, trees have as much or more underground unshown than overshown part. Yeah, if your grounding and aura is aligned, it should work. And I think that was one of the reasons maybe that the trees show their faces to me, because I was literally going outside like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, getting barefoot, digging my feet down on Bagaya, and going into the infinity breath. And I'm sitting out sometimes for 45 minutes, an hour, hour and a half in meditation, and then I'll do like my little morning exercise stuff and all that. But I was really, really grounding myself every day with my feet on Gaia doing the breath work, and I began to see the faces on trees and have, like I said, they weren't moving towards me, but I was having thoughts of their thoughts in meditation. Yeah, Robin, messages from nature. I now see me normally it's me and birds. I have a thing with birds. Sometimes I've gotten even visits from, we have like copperheads here, and I've had like baby copperheads by the front door and the back door. Hummingbirds will come by my face. Chipmunks forever running across my feet. When I go out there, the big old patio, they could be anywhere and they'll come and run across my feet and play with me. Yeah, Jesus, they were revealing themselves absolutely. And like I say, people can, I know I'm not crazy, so I don't care whether people choose to believe me or not. I know what I experienced. My mentor said he had an experience one time. He used to drive the same path to work every day, and it was on the night shift, so it was super late one night. And when he came through that stretch of road, it's pretty lonely, but it was late at night, and he heard this wailing, crying, shrieking kind of sound, and he couldn't figure out what in the world he was hearing, but it sounded like a lot of wailing. And when he got back in the morning, they had cut down a whole stand of trees, and what he was hearing were those trees crying out. This, y'all gonna laugh at me and call me crazy. I'm probably one of the 10 people in the Western world that has never seen the Lord of the Rings. I don't know why it never interested me, but I have never seen all of it. I started trying to watch. I didn't even try. It came on or whatever, and it just didn't grab my attention, and I went on and did something else, and never took the time to go back and watch it. There's a lot of movies that I haven't seen. Though, like I said, I turned away from mainstream television in 1999, and I don't do the movie thing very often. I used to hate the fact that the theaters charge as much as they do. So I'll see things when they come out later on. There are a few movies I'd like to see. Like, I started watching it and never finished it, but I want to see 3,000 Years of Longing. I'm trying to think. I don't know. There's a few of them out there that I'd like to see. I just, again, got to work out the time to do it. Oh, that reminds me. I was thinking about it today. In order for me to be able to give decent content for both of these channels, I think what it's going to wind up being is Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday evenings on Modern Mystic Messages for the spiritual discussions, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday during the day for tarot here on this channel. And then on Saturday, I'll flip it so that I can do spiritual discussions in the morning on Saturday morning on a live stream, and then a late night tarot session on Saturday evenings here on this channel on live stream. But by me doing that, if I do alternate days on the live streams, then that will allow me to also have some time to do research and homework and reading and stuff like that, so I can have uploads during the week for both of the channels as well. On the days that I live stream for this channel, then when I get off the live stream, I will be doing like an upload collective reading or pick a card or all signs or whatever we got going on this channel. And same thing on the spiritual side. In the mornings before I go live on those channels, it'll give me an opportunity to read a few chapters in the book so I can talk about it or do an upload or something there. And I think that might wind up being better, because I'm gonna just burn myself all the way out if I try to continue doing like morning and evening live streams. I can do that, but I won't ever have time to prepare anything for upload to the rest of the channel. What y'all think? Of course. Did you have a specific question that you'd like to ask, Spirit of Love? If you have a specific question, that'll let me know kind of um which decks to pull from. I'm gonna tell you right now, though, Archangel Michael does have a message for you as soon as you ask that question. And I said, of course, these two cards jumped out of the deck. One of them is Shield Yourself. Archangel Michael, I ask you to protect me, my loved ones, my vehicle, and my home with your powerful shield. Surround us in your purple light, which allows only pure love to penetrate. Please stay with me day and night and keep my loved ones safe. And you can use that in whatever specific scenario you want to ask with it. The other card that came out with it was spend more time outdoors. Okay. But if you have a question, put it here in the chat. And oh, at the bottom of the deck, a favorable outcome is here too. Did that? Oh, that's all you needed. I was gonna do a mini reading for you if you have a question, but if that went straight to the wow, Michael took care of that real quick, didn't he? Let me see what else we got. See if I can get a general message for you, because I don't. I mean, I'm be nosy with the cards. They ain't even mess around. Just said, "Oh, we're gonna handle this real quick." Ooh, my aunt is here with divine intervention. Weigh up your options, choose the highest good. And what else we got? What else? Ooh, Lakshmi and Ganesh, prosperity vibration. And Dwal Cool, divine mission. Enlightened action, make choices from the heart. That part. Remember we was talking earlier about those of us that are basically being called into some form of divine mission or service, and it's going to require income coming in from somewhere and all of that good stuff. Yeah, that entire part. You said something about amethyst and you seeing it and learning about it. Yeah. Amethyst is a very spiritual stone, and I'm wearing purple today. Yep. Amethyst is my main stone. My birthstone is ruby, but the stone that I connect with, and it's so weird, back in, oh my goodness, it must have been like 2011, 12, when I was first starting to like, I was in conspiracy theory before then. I think my awakening probably started in 99 with the Matrix, but my clairaudience started kicking in around 2007, 8, 9ish. And I was still going through a lot of stuff, dating deadheads and all kind of nonsense. But somewhere around 2010, 11, 12ish, I started getting a little more spiritually focused. And the first time I went into a metaphysical store, I don't even know. I wanted to buy a stone or whatever, and I didn't have a whole lot of money, but I was sitting there looking at stones, and it just occurred to me, instead of just picking one by the way it looked, to actually kind of hold them and feel them. And an amethyst egg selected me that day, and she didn't even stay with me that long. She wound up, I guess, went to somebody else who needed it. I dropped it at somewhere around the gas station a few weeks later, but I could feel the energy of that stone. Of all the stones I touched in there, that stone wanted to come with me. You said ask Michael and make sure that you're calling on the right help. You want to be fully into understanding the messages that you get and move on with more confidence, or move with more confidence. Okay, let's see what Michael got to say. And we're going to get a few other messages too. Hold on. Oh yeah, Spirit of Love Purple and honestly, I've been a purple girl since before purple was a thing. Ooh, Robin, it does say explore your options. Dear God, thank you for your wisdom and love, helping you see, understand, and assess all of your alternative options. Please guide me in the best direction for my health, happiness, and my life's purpose. The situation is already resolved, though. I give any worries, cares, and concerns to you in exchange for pure peace in all ways. Thank you for resolving this in a divinely perfect way, and be gentle with yourself. Okay. Archangel Michael, please guide me in treating myself with gentle, nurturing love in everything I think, speak, and do. Help me know that I deserve this compassion. I release any feelings of guilt to you so that I may experience lasting inner peace. In other words, stop pushing so hard. It will come to you. Okay? Robin, I get it. We want to make sure we're getting it right, because religion done told us if we don't get it right, we're going to be so punished. But the thing is, half of the battle is asking the question, and you've already done that. You're on the path. I don't think you could get off the path if you wanted to at this point, but you're not trying to get off the path. You're on the path. We just constantly second guess and check ourselves, and second guess and check ourselves because of that religious programming that's been riding our back since childhood. If you don't get it right, you're going to die and go to hell. Well, that's a lie. So you can release yourself from that, right? Right. You're doing just fine, mama. I promise you're doing just fine. Yeah, and I do understand, because you don't, but does it feel good? Are you getting the oogly boogly? Are you feeling weird? Like, oh my God, this don't quite feel right and it's scaring the shit out of me, but I'm doing it anyway. If it's not scaring you, and you not that your spidey sense ain't going off, sending that up your neck, our sixth sense will protect us in that route. If you're thinking about a spiritual modality and you're having second thoughts and third thoughts, and like I say, you getting the up the back, the hair on the back of your neck standing up, leave that alone. But as long as it's feeling good to you, and spirit is kind of nudging you to go check this out, or go check that out, or go look into this modality, or go look into that modality, that's literally your guides telling you to do that. And just pay attention to how it feels when you deal with it. You're welcome, my dear. You say they have more meaning since you found them. It looks like quartz with little specks of rubies and amethyst growing here and there. What stones are those? You said, oh, weird rock with little purple crystal. Honestly, I'm not sure, because I know amethyst, citrine, quartz, and something else are kind of in the same family of stones. So if it's got red crystal in it, maybe when it was forming, there's some other kind of flash mineral that came through there to put red streaks through it. But yeah, you've been gifted a lot of lapis lately. That's a very beautiful spiritual stone as well, spirit of love. It's very good for the throat chakra as well. Maybe you got a truth you got to speak. You said asking the right question too. Plus, you live by love here. Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. I feel where she's going, because I'm trying to. Even my son asked me years ago. It's like when I first started kind of stepping away from religion, they wasn't mad that I wasn't making them go to church, because like I said, I was raised in the Jehovah's Witnesses, and that made them feel weird too. But they were like, what if you're not getting it right? What if you're not, and that's the same thing, type of thing that Robin here is going through. And I was like, babe, I just have to focus on the fact that God is love. I believe that, if I don't believe nothing else, that the real God, the one that we supposed to be looking at, is the embodiment of love. And I knew that I wasn't feeling that from Yahweh, but My thought was, even if I get it wrong, if I'm getting it wrong for the right reasons, I can't get it wrong. Because God is love. If I'm sincere in my quest, He will cover whatever shortcomings that I may have in that regard. Honestly, I think there's some value in all of them, though. So truthfully, if it feels good to you and it's beautiful, and for whatever reason you were inspired to pick it up, you don't have to know exactly what it is. It's a stone that wanted you to see it and wanted you to have it because it made it, like I said, it showed itself to you. I believe in that too. Certain things in life make themselves known to us at the appropriate place and time for us. There's so much happening on this planet that folks that stay stuck in that four-wall box of rigid religiosity will never understand. Yeah. Honestly, that's the thing. I mean, that scripture in the Bible, when it said that years ago, even when I was still stuck in religion, that scripture brought me so much comfort because, again, church folks have been taught to read the Bible based on what church folk tell them. But I've always read with extreme comprehension, and I felt a disconnect between what we're being taught and what they're saying is supposed to be. Like, I was telling you about this lady that sent me this long email and put that long comment on my thing. She was trying to say that yes, that Yeshua is Yahweh, and it was talking about Paul Wallace was trying to support the fact he was talking about the scripture where it said Yahweh ordered babies to be chopped up or something in the scriptures, and then talking about, well, it don't matter anyway because the babies went to heaven. What, lady? Is you kidding me? It was okay for him to order the babies to be, because they were not Israelite babies, they was babies of the enemy camp, and besides, the babies would go to heaven anyway. How jacked up in your thinking do you have to be to think that that's what the scriptures are saying, and then be okay with that, that the God that ordered that is still a-okay in your book? But that's what she was basically trying to convince me of. I'm like, oh no, 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 no. Mm-mm. But those kind of stories is all over the Bible. But because the preachers then sat down and told us that those are appropriate tests of our faith, people that choose to worship Yahweh keep accepting that that's okay, that He would tell people to do stuff like that. No, I just refuse to accept that any longer. Ooh, and there's a change in the wind. And we know it's a change in the wind. That's why I say they can continue to hang with that mess as long as they want to. I believe the book of Enoch, I believe Revelation. It's a change in the wind, baby. It's a change in the wind. And they be all scared at Revelation. I ain't. I'm not scared at all. Clean it up, because that's what we're doing. It's time for what did the scripture say about God using the simple things of the world? We may not have all the doctorates and the PhDs and the theosophical and theological, the blah, 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 and all the letters after our name. You don't take all of that to read the scriptures and understand what they say and stop letting these people tell us it means something else. We are going to be able to clean it up because we're no longer going to continue being spoon fed the lies. Time is over for that. Nope, not today. Get behind me, Satan. You said you got a confirmation. All right. Hey, and I just be talking. I don't know who this is for, but I sit down and set an intention to allow spirit to flow through me and let me see what I need to see in these cards and say what I need to say in these cards. And whoever it's for, I'm a spiritual telephone operator. The message come out, and the person that's supposed to get it to get it. That's all I need to know. Ooh, wait a minute. What's over here? Here and now, mending and imagine. Now, you know what? I see this here and now and mending, and couldn't help but think about. I'm on the music thing today. One of the big songs that started coming to me years ago, and y'all forgive me, I'm not crying. When spirits start flowing with me, I'm a watering pot, so it'd be spirit tears. Just bear with me. Um, but when I really started connecting with Yeshua several years ago, I started hearing the revolution will not be televised. Okay, that, and again, you can go listen to the song if you want to. It's a little militant for my taste, but I understood the overall meaning, not from a racial standpoint, but the revolution will not be televised because it's going to happen within each and every one of us. And then now I'm hearing John Lennon over here with this Imagine card. We are building New Earth. We're going to build it in our hearts and minds first, and it will gel out into the manifested experience. Period. Let me see. Oh, goodness. What are these two? Chop wood and observer. What's that phrase? You hold the light while I chop the wood. It's time. Chop, chop. We're doing it. We're doing it, though. Yeah, it's happening. Let me go to another deck and see what we got. Give you some true John Lennon came into your head. That's the way it go. I'm trying to tell you now that one word imagine was there. I've talked about imagining stuff. We've talked about visualizing today. Why did the John Lennon song come both in why did John Lennon come into both our heads at the same time? Because we're tapped in the unified field. That's the way it go. Wow. Breaking contract came here. Contract stop serving your growth, freeing yourself from a soul contract, altering your divine blueprint. In new territory, meant to try new things in life, a walk in unfamiliar territory, enabling success through learning. New earth. New earth. Did I have a revelation of some sort? You could say that, Jesus. Why do you think that I sit here every night, even though the church folk come at me every night and talk about Yeshua's ministry and message in a way that nobody else is really talking about? Because I understand. And it did come from, I can't name the day and time per se, but it was a point in time around 2022 at some point. My big revelation was in 2020, and like I said, I when the world was going mad, I used that. I saw Spirit's hand in how you say your whole back is needing protection. Yeah, and you'll do it when you're ready. Honestly, you will, because I know they was gonna come for me to a degree, but I like I said, I just at a point now I'm stubborn and I don't care anymore because the few people that's gonna attack you in the comments, the ones that are thanking you and being helped by them will be far outweighed by the ones who's gonna attack you. And honestly, I've seen several readers lately when the people get too slick out the mouth in the comments, they just cut the comments off. And if I have to, I'll do that too, especially when your channel gets big enough that people start stealing your content and voicing it over and coming in the comments trying to scam people, pretending to be them, and all the rest of that. A lot of those folks will open up like a membership option for people that want extra or some kind of a community scenario where they give them a little something extra for $5, $10, $15 a month or whatever. And then they just cut off the comments for a while until the trolls go away. Um, yeah, Jesus, and again now, Okay, and I was getting ready to start telling you about some of the stuff that happened to me in 2020 because I think really, excuse me, that was kind of when it really took off for me. Like I said, in 2007 and 8, I had a couple of very profound clairaudient experiences, but I also still had a lot of really toxic people in my life, exes and currents and all of that stuff. My life was in that cycle of building up and falling apart and all of that good stuff. And I still was raising minor children. Um, but in 2020, I saw the hand of spirit begin to work. Had been here in Atlanta. I wound up leaving Atlanta on the spur of the moment and going back to my old job in Florida. And by that point, my daughter and her girl had moved down there. So I moved back to Florida literally 3 months before the pandemic shut the world down. So once I was there, I had gone back to my job, but then I lost my job due to the pandemic. But I was still sitting there in Florida, right by the Gulf of Mexico. I call it Money Mile down there, where like Morgan Stanley and was it D. Edwards, whatever, all of them people, them huge buildings and stuff. We were literally, the house that we stayed in was on a side street that was a block away from the Ritz Carlton. Now, normally we would never have been able to afford that neighborhood, none of the rest of it. But the way Spirit worked it out, I spent the pandemic literally looking at the Ritz Carlton every day. That's where I was sitting out meditating. I'd go walk over to the water when we could and all that stuff. When things really started. Oh wow, Brittany, awesome. St. Pete. Yep, I'm a Floridian by birth, so I'm very familiar with St. Pete. Um, but yeah, once things started really ramping up for me in the meditation space, I had an experience where I actually saw this really beautiful. It was kind of a watery grayish blue, but I saw a giant eye in the sky one day. And then for about a week, I was hearing the music of the spheres. I had to actually go online and look up some of the planetary frequencies. I was hearing like Venus, I could hear Sirius B. I was hearing the planets at night coming across, the sound of them coming across the ocean waves. And in the early morning, I was hearing all kinds of stuff. And then, like I said, when my clairaudience kicked in, my daughter and I, when the restrictions lifted, we decided she wanted to go fishing for this particular type of fish as soon as we could go back on the beaches and stuff. And she had this fish finder app or something, and so we were down on Siesta Key. She was looking for a specific group of mangrove trees or something where this particular fish was supposed to have been spotted. And as it turned out, they had put a new house up there, so we couldn't even get back to that fishing area. But as we were driving through those beachfront houses, we came across this ugly behind mansion. I mean, it looked like an old prison or something. I'm like, what in the world? And we started laughing because at the time I was still stuck in the Democratic brainwashing and stuff. I wasn't super disrespectful, but I just laughed. I was like, as ugly as it is, it's probably Trump's place or something. And we went on about our business, went back on I forgot. It wasn't Siesta. Well, I guess we did go to a different part of Siesta Key and found a public parking access area. And she went and fished in off of the pier or something for a little while. And then I went and got my yoga ball and sat out on the sand and had me a good meditation and all the rest of that. Then we went home. Now, in the interim of all that, my boyfriend lives in another country, and we had started discovering that we were telepathically linked. So once we discovered we were telepathically linked every day, we practiced that. We still talked and text and all that other good stuff, but when he got ready to go to bed, I would lay down too, and then we would link up in our head mentally before he go to sleep. And this one, after that particular day, came home from the beach and all that, and I'm laying down with him so that we could get in our heads mentally. And all of a sudden, I was imagining being with him, and for whatever reason, I was visualizing us like in Ghana, walking on the beach or being together, whatever the case was. And then all of a sudden, it was like, shoo, I was no longer with him. I was on this same beach that I had just been at earlier that day, and I heard a voice sounded like it was coming across the water, and the voice said to me, "No, that's not Trump's house. That's where they filmed uh, the reality show Siesta Key." I had no idea because I don't watch mainstream television. The only reason I even knew that there was a reality show named Siesta Key was because when I came back to Sarasota and went back to my old job, they had hired some younger people in the office. And one of the girls in there, in casual conversation, mentioned the fact that one of her classmates was in the first season of the show. But once I had heard that, I never went on Siesta Key when I found out they was having a reality show because I didn't want to know. I knew it would be super crowded. I don't really deal with Siesta Key like that anyway, even though I had been living down there for 5 years before. So I never went on Siesta Key, and I kind of forgot about it until I heard that in meditation, and I honestly did not know the answer. So I went on Google and typed in house where they filmed the show Siesta Key and entered it, and boom, there that house showed right up. I was gobsmacked. And at that point, I was like, okay, I can't deny anymore. I'm not making this up because I didn't know the answer to this question. So I know I'm hearing from spirit now. And once I did that, I asked for the ascended masters to come in, and Yeshua showed up. I got pictures in my phone right now. And this was a little bit later. I think it was in February of 2021 that this happened. I had a whole congregation of ibis, over 100 ibis visited me at that house. And but at the winter of 2020 on solstice, for the winter solstice, there was a double conjunction. Saturn, I think, and Jupiter had lined up. You said you had that happen to you 3 times. Wow, yeah, I'm telling you, it'll kick in. But a few months before that, for winter solstice, I went out on the beach to watch that conjunction. I saw a beautiful silver light arc up through the planets during the conjunction. And then a few days later, I had been doing a meditation program where it was supposed to be designed to help you accept your Christed beingness. And it was a 6 week meditation program. I still can't find it on YouTube. They removed it to this day. But at the end of it, they said if it happens to be near or around Christmas time, and it was, for you to go out um, to the beach that morning, and instead of celebrating Christmas per se, to go out and celebrate with Yeshua and accept your Christhood. And I did that. And shortly after I did that, within a couple of days after doing that, I went back. Had like this strong urge to go back to the beach that morning. That was like Christmas morning. I went out there and did that. A few days later, I was drawn back to that same spot on the beach, and it was so weird because I didn't think anybody else would be out there. It was overcast, like it was getting ready to rain. It wasn't too long after sunrise, and I went and stood out there. I got dressed and doing my thing and all that. And a couple came walking up the beach, and the husband looked like a 50-year-old version of the white Jesus that we're shown. Reddish hair, reddish beard, all the rest of that. We had a conversation about the grand conjunction, and where we're standing in the place of time, and what it means going into the age of Aquarius and all of that. And just, 4 or 5 minutes worth of conversation. And then he reached in his pocket and handed me three perfect sand dollars and walked off. The sand dollar is representative of the Christ story. And that was 4 days after Christmas. Those are the kind of things that were happening to me during that time period. So, yeah. Um, you said you did a music show and you came back and had a big revelation about your mission. Awesome. And that's what I'm saying. I didn't know. Saint Germain told me that we were going to do something big together, but I still didn't understand what it was at that time. Then I was led to tarot, and again, it was for my own personal healing. and information at the time, but I took to it and I got me a couple decks and was just kind of reading for myself and tripping out on all of the crazy tarot. I've had hundreds of crazy tarot synchronicities with other readers and videos and all that other kind of stuff. And then in 22, I started hearing um, Let My People Go. Well, in 2020 with Yeshua, he told me, I heard, if I came back, if I did come back here physically, there's not any of these churches that I would be aligned with. I would sit down and braid another whip. That's what I'd do. And I thought I was being disrespectful, but he's just kind of laughed. He was like, no, 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 you hear him. You ain't making that up. And then I started hearing Let My People Go, but I thought it was Yahweh, but I didn't understand that either. And it wasn't until 2022 that I began to understand that it wasn't Yahweh. That's literally Enki turning Yahweh's words back to him. But Yeshua started showing me the truth of what happened in the scriptures, that whole delivering him up to the Romans and the whole hypocrisy of it, and the fact that it's been grossly misrepresented. It doesn't mean what it means. And at that point, I was out in meditation in the backyard one day, and at the tail end of a beautiful meditation, I had a conversation with Enki. And it wasn't vengeful, it wasn't hateful, it wasn't any of the rest of that. It was kind of like, well, you got me. You figured it out, so I'm not gonna mess with you. I'm not gonna necessarily help you, but you got me. And that was kind of what I had to just accept, the fact that I know this is not gonna be an easy road, but it is an important thing that I have to do. I had no intention of going on nobody's YouTube channel or nowhere else talking about that. I just thought it was an understanding that I came to. And then October of last year, that was when the big epiphany hit me, when I was led to the Lost Book of Enki, and it hit me so profoundly the second time. The first time I saw it, it was nice and it was cool and I was interested, but I didn't really get it. And that last piece of the puzzle slid into place in October to let me know, no, 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 this is foundationally important. And the following morning, after I realized that, I was sitting at my daughter's table out in her garage area, and Yahweh basically said, you wanted to know me, you wanted to know the nature of Yahweh. And I realized all of the hell and the confusion that I had been taken through for the last 30 years of my life, all of the sorry ass people being used and abused, and the men and the narcissists and the women that did me dirt, all of it. I was being immersed, baptized by fire in Yahweh's world. Every one of them people that did me nasty, and I got a long enough story to wrap around the block 3 times and make every grown person that hears it cry if I told it from that older vantage point. It ain't about being victim consciousness. It's about truly having been victimized, done nasty over and over by repeated people. And every one of the people that did me wrong was supposedly good Christians. I was in Yahweh's world. So once I really realized all of that, I was like, hey, ain't nothing to it but to do it. I'm going to have to be. Yeshua said, if you love me, follow me. If you love me, obey me. It's several times he said, if you different things, and even in the scriptures where the heavens opened and God said, this is my son, the beloved, whom I have approved. The first time he said, listen to him. The next time it said, obey him. So whether folks like it or not, no matter how they come for me, hell, they unalived him. At least they're not as likely to do that to me, but I still have to speak. So yeah, it was an unfolding revelation. It wasn't all at one time. It just continued to build. Earth soul. We stick to what socially accepted, desire to belong. Nope, not really. Desire, well, actually, yeah, desire to belong to a community, spiritually evolve here on earth. That came out of this deck. Oh, yeah. Honestly, Jesus, we walking each other home. When I say the tarot synchronicities that I had, the I've had several readers that resonated so strongly with me, it made me cry. One of them was Swimming Through the Void. Allie's Tarot is another one. Um, Lightworks Intuitive Healing is another. I don't even remember that sister. I don't even know if she's given her first name. But I've been in her collectives. I was like her 450th subscriber, and I think she's got 26,000 now. I was with Swimming Through the Void. I think he was somewhere sitting around 4 or 5,000 when I first got in his collective, and now he's got almost 200,000. I'm not sure if I'm gonna write. I will check out White Feather. I'm not sure if I've probably been led to one or two readings, and I have had that happen over as long as I've been watching tarot. Spirit will lead me to a reader for one or two messages, and then I'm led somewhere else. But there are a few collectives that I've stayed in for a while. Um, but as they started telling their story, when I was listening to Swimming Through the Void, we had been through similar things. I didn't actually lose my children like he did for a time, but when I tell you it was a very, very similar story, that way Spirit kind of stripped him down to the frame, so to speak, and he was built back up. Yeah, I think we really, really have, a lot of us have similar stories because the chosen go through a very difficult path. Like I call it the Super Dave crash and burn entry into this experience. We walk a very rough road because we're being called to teach that stuff. You can't really teach something unless you truly understand it and develop empathy for it. People are going through really, really rough times, and we have experienced a lot of that stuff. So we have an empathy for it. We understand it. We don't judge them harshly like the church does and the rest of the world does, because we understand how they could be in that situation, that it's not always just them being stupid or lazy or whatever that the world will tell them. That's the stuff that they rip us apart with. But we done been down them bumpy roads. And a lot of it was to strengthen us to fight the pit boss at the end. Like I keep seeing that analogy of like trying to play the video game. And at first, you know how you keep getting out real quick in the game, but the more you play the game, you get better and you can play on one life for 2 or 3 hours. But eventually, you'll get to a point where you played on one life and you get to all the way through to the end of the game. But at the end of the game, there's always a level that's so hard. It's like it's like fighting the big boss at the end of that game. That's what we're here for right now. We are old souls. This is not our first rodeo. We've been doing this for a hot minute, and we're here to fight the big boss. Let me see. I'm writing White Feather down, because I definitely want to check out her channel. The name sounds familiar. There's a girl, and I can't even. I'm gonna have to look through my subscriptions. I got too many of them. And see if I can find her channel. I think she's got Anunnaki in her title somewhere, but I can't remember. But she's a blonde girl that wears a head wrap. Her tarot setup looked like she made her setup in a closet. She's got like shelves of all her tarot decks are on either side of her desk, and she always had like a dream catcher or something behind her on the wall. I don't watch her a whole lot, but I really, really look. But I am gonna check out your channel, Jesus. Is the name of your channel Jesus LeBlanc, or is it something else? Okay, cool. And Spirit of Love, is your channel Spirit of Love or something else? Those people, if the folks that are subscribed to my channel that 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 have a channel, I like to go back and subscribe as well, for real. You said you check out your. Ooh, you do. I love that song anyway. Ain't no sunshine. Yeah, I like all kinds of music. So I mean, I'm a little older, but I love some everything. So everything. Well, I can't really do that screaming death metal. That annoys me. But other things, I like all kinds of different genres of music. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay. SoundCloud too. Awesome. Let me get on. This supposed to be tarot, and I done got over here and got to talking the story and whatever. We're gonna see what else we can pull for. I wrote them down so I can go back later. Ooh, source of light. Source of light and positivity to others, achieving personal growth and wisdom. Your inner strength inspires others. I'm trying to tell you, that's what we're here for. That is what we are here for. Now, they didn't tell you that getting all that inner strength was going to hurt like hell. That's the part they didn't tell us, right? we didn't know it was going to be put through a meat grinder to get all of that inner strength. But yeah, your YouTube is Spirit of Love, but you do have a couple of covers on there, or no? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, Amanda. Cool. 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 I'm gonna check it out anyway. Your playlist might be worthwhile. Ooh. Ooh. Stardom just popped out of this deck. Achieving a high social status, famous in entertainment, or social media famous. I think that might be all of us right here before it's over with. Because honestly, like I said, depending on who get the ends first when the cheddar come in, there's definitely a lot of work to be done. And yeah, so I ain't mad. Difficult road came out. Spirit of persevering, being prepared for great things, walking the hard path in life. I told you. Super Dave, crash and burn entry. But it will refine you. Like I said, we're in the crucible. It literally is refining us. What do they say? Talk about the phoenix. The phoenix analogy has always kind of resonated with me, as well as the lotus. The lotus quite literally gets it out of the mud. And a lot of us have to do that too. Okay, Brittany. Awesome. No problem. No problem. Honestly, I'm not gonna be on but so much longer anyway, because I do need to meet up. I've been kind of ignoring my boyfriend, and he asked me if we could meet up and do a little telepathy practice at 5 this evening. So I gotta cook dinner too. So at about 30 minutes or so, I'm gonna get off of here and go cook and then get myself ready for that so I can still do a live stream this evening. You say you took the untook path? I used to not, because I had people that tried to convince me to do it their way, and I was very much a trying not to make waves person, because in the family that I grew up in, making waves was very painful. But I don't fit. I've never fit. I am a square peg that's been trying to fit in a round hole my whole damn life. And now, like I said, now I'm no longer trying to fit in a round hole. I am a proud square peg now, but you still got to figure out, navigate those certain areas of life that are more difficult. And quite honest, if I had my way, I'd fall into a windfall of money and get it all set up and trust and this and that, and then hand over the reins to my much younger boyfriend who I married at that point, and I wouldn't have to deal with the paperwork because the way my ADD is set up, I don't want to deal with paperwork. I don't want to deal. I've done it. I've had to do it for so long. I'm just ready to just not have to address all of that. I'd rather pay the accountants and pay to this and pay to whomever so I can get up in the morning, make my little coffee or tea, go outside and meditate, ramble around, make my little candles and stuff that I'm gonna do. Come online, read my books, come online and talk to y'all and call it a day. I want to be paid to just genuinely exist at this point. I've been working like a dog my whole life and having people suck me dry my whole life. I am so ready to just be paid to exist because I know it may be the longer way around and it may cost a little extra, but if I got enough money to pull it off, the concepts that have come through that have been shown to me to help other people, ultimately they will make money. So it's not like I'm gonna just be constantly funneling money out. I don't think I'm gonna be that independently wealthy that I'm gonna waste money. But it take money to make money. But once you put systems and teams into place, you don't have to physically do it all. I'll be paid for what's coming up out my medulla oblongata instead of what's been coming off my hands and my back like I've been doing my whole life. And that's to me, that's what I'm waiting for. That's what I really want to do. Say that's your plan too. You better be planning to drive, girl. don't be don't be texting while you driving. Exactly. That's what I'm manifesting to, being paid to exist. Even when it come down to the YouTube thing and the different social media outlets, my boyfriend said he's ready to be my cameraman, editor, all of that. So I don't even have to sweat with that. Just get up and look pretty and then go talk. And then let him do whatever he gonna do with the reels. I won't have to mess with none of that. Just keep my energy clear, do my salt baths and self-care, basically all the pampering that I wasn't able to do when I was running through life with like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to raise babies on my own and duck and dodge all of the vampires and the bill collectors and all the rest of that. I want to get to a point where I can just get up and do me and be my fabulous self and be paid to let people see me doing self care and see me tending to my spirituality. That part. Ooh, and long life is here at the bottom of the deck. Blessed with a good a long life journey of learning, being happy and healthy in an old age. Hey, yes, I can't even, yes, I claim this all day. I claim this for every one of us. Oh, girl, I'm trying to tell you, we in the same tribe. We are in the same boat with the paddle going down the same river, peas in a pod, soul family, all of that for sure. I claim it for each and every one of us. And even the ones that might come along and watch this in the replay, I claim it for y'all too. Because we're not supposed to be here slaving away to make other people rich. That's the lie they told us. This earth has become a slave camp for real. Even the ones that's making money, what is money anymore? And I'm not saying I don't want it because it does take it to navigate this space and do some things with. But the whole concept of what we've been sold is kind of a lie. And it's time for us to step out of that. Yep, tribe and family, absolutely. Because here's the thing, my actual blood family, they disowned me a long time ago because I didn't buy it. I didn't no longer wanted to be in their camp of their religious beliefs. So they absolutely disowned me. But that's okay because family, at the end of the day, we are all family anyway. Everybody on this planet that's intelligent enough to read a book, operate a phone, have these conversations, learn a language, those sorts of things. We all got some form of Anunnaki blood in us. We are family, Earth family. So it ain't always about the immediate gene pool we came here in. Sometimes some of us have to find family, cast our net a little wider for our spiritual family. Ain't nothing else seem to be coming out that deck, so I'm moving on. Oh, higher ground is here. Rise above the noise. Try not to take things personally. Sometimes we're just actors in other people's dramas. Avoid getting sucked into negativity. And honestly, isn't that how we kind of escape the stuff that's happening to us now? We just had to get to where we choose to rise above. That's why, and we are, Amanda. That's why I get aggravated when these people still be trying to come into the stream talking racist nonsense. I'm like, you do realize we are all the same, right? All of us. Like, not you don't. It ain't just one people over here, and then all the rest of us too. The people over here that decided that they want to be separatists, they separated themselves out. But that just because they lied to themselves and said they was different doesn't mean it's really true. We're still all the same. And the sad part about it, people that get caught up in racial nonsense don't even realize that racism is genuinely a psyop that was designed to keep less intelligent people divided. Actual intelligent people already know that racism is a joke. And if you really, really notice, the ultra wealthy people ain't never gave a damn about race. They more concerned about money. Green is the only color they worry about. It's broke folk that buy into the nonsense, that buy into racism. I mean, the whole slavery issue that they made it race and all that, that was on American government. But if you look at the history of this country, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but the folks that founded America were not the sharpest tools in the shed. They can't. Half of them came here to escape debtor's prison. Half of them were so damn nasty the disease almost took them out. Quite a few of them was inbred. And I'm not saying it to be rude or disrespectful. They were not the cream of society's crop. So the fact that the world allowed them to turn around and take their elevator not running all the way to the top to the penthouse logic and spread it all over the world, that ain't smart either. Uh-oh. Hold on. My phone. I gotta get a new tripod eventually. It'd be doing weird stuff. Ooh, we got expectation here. Believe in better outcomes. Life delivers to us what we expect from it. Ask yourself, what is the best that could happen? Expect good things so life can rise to meet you. That's what I'm talking about. And then go for it. You are ready. If you're waiting for a sign to make a move, this is it. You are supported in taking the next steps towards your goal. Focus on positive outcomes and follow your inner compass. This is a card of intuition. Half of intuition is listening, the other half is acting. If you've asked, you will receive an answer. It's time to listen and follow your guidance. Amen. I get to stop saying amen too. I rarely do anymore, but occasionally want to slip out. Oh, this one just popped up too. Spiritual path. Realign with your spirit, refocus on your spiritual life, and actively connect with the divine. Honoring your true self allows you to get back into sync with your highest good. Now, I think since I am going to have to close it down shortly, I do want to pull some actual tarot. We did a whole bunch of oracle cards, but I want to pull some tarot before we jump up out of here, and then maybe a few more oracles at the end. this spread. I mean, there are oracles involved in this spread. I call it a tarot-like spread that I usually used to do because it is tarot and oracles, but they're oracles that kind of mimic the tarot a bit, and I layer them together because they do talk together. We got home starting out here and focus. And earth. Ooh, spiritual cleansing is here and healer. Divinity, earth, and air with the new moon and shift. Soulmate still at the bottom of this deck, but I'm gonna kind of leave that. I'll do a love reading later. I'm not even really looking at love right now, so I'm gonna just leave those like that. And then let's see. Ooh, gift is here. So home is here with gift. That's encouraging. There was some concern here, but this here with focus, so that could be anything. With spiritual cleansing. Ooh. We got a main female here with spiritual cleansing and distant horizon with air. Ooh. Is somebody calling in an air sign from a distance? I wasn't looking for a love reading, but it could be. Could be. Or maybe the person that's going to assist you is an air sign. Or, yeah. Healer is here with this coffin energy. A cycle is ending, and truthfully, it needs to end so that you can come into this healing energy. If you're being called to be a healer, you probably are going to have to close some cycles. Child is here with divinity, and child does not always mean an actual baby. Sometimes it is a new enterprise, a new project, that kind of stuff. But divinity is part of it here. And with earth, we have community. Yeah, which that makes sense too, as far as this Virgo energy. With new moon, ooh, there they go. I am gonna have to pull some cards later. Maybe I will do. Maybe I'll do an upload love reading because the lovers actually just came out here with this. I didn't think it, but with this main female and the spiritual cleansing, and then healer ending this cycle, maybe it does involve. Yeah, shift and change came out together. So yeah, it is definitely a potential here for a love scenario. Privileged lady is at the bottom of the deck. Unexpected income and mature man are at the top. Hmm. Let me see. Oh, I split the deck at the King of Wands and the Two of Cups. What's here with this gift and home? Ooh, the Three of Cups pop right out with this home and gift. So there is a season of celebration coming for somebody. This is absolute. It is community as well, but with cups, that's about emotions. The Three of Cups represents, yeah, partnerships, but celebration within that community type partnership. The Chariot is here with this focus and concern. And truthfully, if you have an issue of concern, Chariot energy is the thing that you do need to drive that in the direction that you'd like to have it go. The chariot driver drives the chariot telepathically. It's about will of mind, and this is a Cancer card too. So we have the Eight of Wands here with the spiritual cleansing in the main female. So there is progress making. There's movement towards this thing happening for somebody here. Ooh. Knight of Wands with distant horizons in air. The Knight of Wands is like rip roaring, charging, ready to go, full of bright ideas, bright eyed and bushy tailed, as they say. And distant horizon is about willing things, those big things that may seem far off. Sometimes it involves actual travel too, but it's also about manifesting one's desires. And I mean, it can be big desires, almost to a point of fantasy. Look, I mean, the ship is floating on water with the rainbow flags and all the rest of that. So it's genuinely, and it's showing, I mean, floating on air. It's up out of the air. And then we got this air card here, which is other further communication. So this Knight of Wands, if he's not an air sign, he's actually somebody that's going to help drive your dreams, help you reach your dreams. Why is Healer and Coffin here? Because of the Hierophant. This does have to do with something spiritual. The Hierophant is order, structure, typically something to do with something religious or spiritual. And we've got Healer, Coffin, and the Hierophant. You being called into service as a spiritual healer. Wheel of Fortune is here with this divinity and child. So it is definitely a new project. For some few, it may be a baby, but I'm not really seeing a baby here. I'm seeing this as a project. Whatever it is the spirit has put on your heart to do, as this Wheel of Fortune cycle comes into being with this divinity and luck, this Hierophant healer energy is going to lead to quite a bit of some kind of a new project that's going to go very, very well. And it is something that is focused on spirituality with divinity and the Wheel of Fortune and this child being here right together, right next to the healer, Coffin, and Hierophant. Queen of Swords is here with Earth and community. You may have to stand on something or definitely effectively communicate, because I mean, we talk about the fact that the Queen of Swords will cut somebody low, but the swords are about communication. So you may have to cut someone off, or you may just have to speak your truth honestly, because in this particular Queen of Swords, a lot of times in a lot of the decks, the Queen of Swords has her sword out, like she's actively ready to cut somebody. But notice in this deck, her sword is down. So she's standing on principle, she's standing on business, but she's not actively on the attack. She's just speaking her truth. With this community card and Earth, I think this is all about doing the spiritual cleansing, calling in a partner to manifest something incredible, allowing the spiritual leveling up, starting a focus, like starting a project or a business or something that has a spiritual focus on it, but it is calling in community. And let's see what Lovers is here with. Oh wow. Mm. We rounded out here with Temperance and the High Priestess. So the Lovers is here with this new moon and Temperance. And then Change and Shift are here with the High Priestess. So it don't that honestly, I mean, even if you don't read tarot, you can see that this is crazy. Yeah, just keep on doing what you're doing with the spirit, with the spiritual cleansing and keeping your focus together. It may not look like it's coming together just yet, but it's coming together. It is definitely coming together. Something has to end before it fully comes into being. Whoa, Empress is at the bottom of the deck with this rebirth. It's happening. The moon is here, the hermit is here, and the King of Pentacles. What's at the top? Ooh, the King of Swords. Page of Cups, Three of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, and the Magician. Yeah. So that's happening. It's happening. Let me see. I do want to take a look here. Just because we got them. Indecision and walking away came together. I don't think there's going to be indecision too long. Concern came out here at first. But no, I don't think indecision, or you may have been in a point of indecision. Envy shot out all the way off to the side here. You may not have understood this or wanted to understand it or been indecisive because you chose not to see it, but you're going to have to walk away from that. And why? Blossoming abundance. If you don't, it's going to mess with your money. The spiritual leveling up is what brings in the money. They are tied to each other. It is not separable. If you don't allow this spiritual cleansing and leveling up, it's going to continue to mess with your money. So if you got envious people around you, if you're at a point of indecision, if you don't want to cut these people off, you can dabble in that long as you want to, but it is going to affect everything in ways that you do not want. So might as well get out of that indecisive period and go on and do what got to be done. And it's nothing wrong with that. People can guilt you out and try to make you feel wrong for doing what you got to do. It ain't wrong. Take it up in meditation, though, and you'll see. Rest and rejuvenation is called for here. And releasing these attachments. And it's interesting because I came here with this healer and coffin and the chariot card. You're going to have to make up your mind to release these attachments, like I talked about, this walking away with indecision and this envy, these haters around you, and all that other stuff. You have to make up your mind to walk away from it in order to get what Spirit is trying to give you. Or in order to enter the season Spirit is trying to usher you into, because it's not just one thing that Spirit is trying to bring you. It's literally trying to help you into a rebirth, a whole new way of being. And it do have to do with speaking your truth. Archangel Michael is right here with the fifth chakra, or Gabriel, excuse me, is here with the fifth chakra. This is all about your throat chakra, speaking the truth, or your truth. That's where your money is tied up in, whether it's music, art, a podcast, writing a book. I don't know, but it's something to do with you communicating some kind of a truth. Angel of Love is here with his community and swords. They're going to help you. You speak your truth, your community is going to stand by you. And the Angel of Love is here to see to that. Even if it's just calling in. Oh, it is about calling in your South by. Even if it's just calling in your family, there is other community in, but this Angel of Love isn't just about community. It is about calling in your soulmate. Happy Family is here with the Lovers, the New Moon, and Temperance. Ooh, and there he go. The High Priestess is here with change and shift, and this man holding a coin. I told you I'm gonna do a love reading. I will, because I've been had it in my mind that I kind of sort of needed to, and I will don't be trying to make every reading be a love reading, but this level of transformation, I figured it would come with a divine counterpart because it's a helpmate. Y'all, you're going to help each other ascend. You help each other spiritually. It's going to help each other in your financial pursuits. It's going to help each other as far as working within this new community and soul tribe. And truthfully, your love is healthy for the community. When people see that, it's that energy, that sacred love is good for whatever community, wherever you go in the world. Plunking that sacred love down into it brings love and light. You strengthen the Christ consciousness grid when you do that. You feel like we're the same person. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, that's why I say I don't mind at all reading for this collective, because This is a delicious energy. I ain't mad at y'all. I ain't mad. I thank you for keeping it light, making it a joy to read for you. Honestly, this is awesome. But I am going to duck out right now for a little while. I got to go cook some dinner for my roommate. Then I'm going to go and, like I said, get mentally patched up with my boo thing. I will be back on Modern Mystic Messages. I'm going to try to make it on no later than 8 o'clock. I might even try to make it on by 7-ish. Depends on how fast I get those other two things done. But I will be on for the evening session over there. And I hope you're able to join me there. For those who's hung out here with me with the tarot session today, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all so very much. Please don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And go over to the other channel at Modern Mystic Messages and subscribe there. Set for notifications. And I will see you later on the live stream over there. Take care. And until tomorrow's live stream here, peace and blessings to you, Soul Fam. Namaste.